don't know how good he is. Like, this is crazy. Because, like, there's some guys that warm up for their show, and it's like a monologue. They're doing a few jokes. It's like, it's okay, but I'm not in it. I'm not really feeling it. With him, it was like I was at a club. I was like dying laughing like I was at a comedy club. I was like, people don't know. This is like, there's a few of these guys that just never got good at promoting.
12.
You know, and they're
43.
Really good. Yeah. And the
Thursday,
thing is, really
April 17, 2025.
That they're not as famous as they deserve to be. Like, I tell is like the least bitter guy a lot. It's so cool. Not even remotely bitter, always friendly.
Yeah, he'll talk to an open micer all day.
Sweet, peaceful, like he's as present as you can get. And he's infinitely less famous than he should be. He should be selling out arenas all over the world. He's that good. Wow. He's so good. He might be the best comic alive. There's like a few in my mind that are like in the running for that. Like, who's the best? I guess there's no one best.
It's
you know, you always have to consider Chappelle. He's the GOAT of our generation. He's the most prolific. He has social impact. He's hilarious and silly, and he's a sweetheart of a person too. So you have to think that. But then I go with like sheer RPMs. I gotta go with Joey Diaz. Yeah, sheer RPMs where you just like how many nights were we in the back of the Comedy Store? We couldn't even talk. You couldn't breathe.
You're not even laughing anymore. You're just
wheezing. Everybody's just wheezing. Him making wheezing noises and slapping things.
Man, I remember back that era, seeing him and how people feel about him now, whatever. But at that time, man, when Chris D'Elia was on stage in that main room some nights, it was mind blowing. The RPMs. Yeah. Just the amount of laughter and how fast would be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he could kill. There's some magic to that thing. I think that's hypnosis. I've always thought that. I think that, like, for a long time at least. I'm like, what is happening to me when someone's on stage and they're killing? You know, like when Shane's on fire. What is happening to me? I think I'm like locked in with their mind. I don't think it's as simple as I'm watching a show or something like that, because I love like watching a funny movie, you know, Tropic Thunder or something like that. I love laughing watching a funny movie, but I don't feel the same way I feel when a guy is in front of me on stage doing stand-up. And I think as great as specials are, they're like 60 to 70% of being there live.
Yes.
Always. I think there's something about being there live that's like, it's hypnosis. There's something going on where that person's making me think the way they think.
Yeah. When someone brings you into their world, and like you said, you're just living it, and you're not even thinking about you're just like, I'm living in this guy's essence right now.
Exactly. You're living in this person's imagination, in this person's work, right? Because they set this set up, and they danced it around their head, and they wrote it down on paper. That's the other interesting thing about what we do is like, there's no one way to do it. I always say my way to do it. But, you know, I don't think Bill writes shit down. I think he keeps it all in his head. Yeah, Dave mostly keeps it all in his head, too.
Schultz does that, too.
Yeah, that's the Jay-Z thing, too, right? Jay-Z kept it all in his head.
Lil Wayne, it's insane. It's not like they're releasing one album.
But who's the best writer? Nas. Nas wrote everything down. You can't write Rewind in your head.
No, you can't.
No.
It's a story backwards.
It's a story backwards. It's another level. That's another level. That's like him pulling his dick out and just like slapping that shit on the table, right?
Yeah,
that's all it is. When you want to say like writing, like I challenge anybody in the world who's got a better written song than Rewind from Nas.
That's a great take. I would agree with that.
It's
perfectly fluent backwards. It's insane. It's a language almost.
Fluent backwards. It's magic. It's like a magic song.
Yeah.
And while you're watching it, you're appreciating the fact that he pulled it off.
Yeah.
You know, like while you're listening, you're appreciating the fact that he pulled off this song backwards.
Yeah, it's impressive to watch the different ways people do it. I mean, I'm biased because I tour with him. But man, when I'm out with fucking Schultz, dude. Because people just see him come up at that 10 minutes up top. You know, like we'll go down Abu Dhabi, and you can just see it, right? But man, you know, I need to see how he gets there. And he gets to town, and no matter where we are, and all he does is he just talks.
I don't know if I'm the only
And
one
he
that's
doesn't say
noticed
anything.
this.
He gets a random person who's lived in wherever we're at for a long time, and he just lets them, and you just see him. You know, like his eyes will light up when somebody says a certain thing, and his eyes will light up, and he's like, oh, okay, oh, that's going on. Oh, then what do they think of it? So what are the and he'll ask a couple questions, and he'll do it, and I'm not talking about 30 minutes, Joe. He'll talk to somebody for 3-4 hours before the show, and just soak in all the culture and all the information, and then you see him go on stage, and it's a full-fledged 10-minute chunk about a place.
Joe, he's a special.
That's
special.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, he's very special. And, you know, and it's also like, you gotta realize he's doing these jokes in front of 16,000 people for the first time. He got a new joke, and he's busting it out in front of 16,000 people about their area.
Yes.
Bro, that shit he did in Hawaii about the chickens being so confident.
Joe, I was the black guy. We got out there, and saw the chickens run up to me. He's like, these chickens are too confident, dog. He's like, they don't know dare. And I was dying, and then it's a form bit later that night, and it's like, this guy is incredible.
And that's another example. Like, what is he doing? How's he
In
doing
today's
that?
video, CNN publishes another poll showing that massive support for President Trump. Also, Congressman Lisa Murkowski makes a shocking statement, and the Fed, Jerome Powell, is now behind seeing Trump is calling for his termination.
And now you're going into your set, and you have me. You have me completely wrapped around.
Yeah, you're a pro.
It was insane.
He keeps getting better.
I mean,
He just when I first saw him a few years back, man, he just keeps getting better.
well, like you said earlier, how to see people do different hours. I
You
just
know
remember
what
it's different people like.
People forget he was like the first guy to really capitalize on the pandemic with his videos, where he essentially created a completely new kind of stand-up, right? So they'd stand up without the pauses that you would require if an audience was laughing. So it's more rapid paced.
Yeah.
Like, he thought this through, dude. This is like a genius thing. Those things turn your phone sideways.
Yes, man.
So that's what you used to have to do back in the day, kids. Back 5 years ago. All you fucking 15-year-olds, when you were 10, you didn't know about this. But when you turn your phone sideways, and then it would play out in wide format. And he would kind of do stand-up with images and with punchlines, and it was fucking great. But it was a way faster pace than he does stand-up on stage.
Yeah.
It was like the punchlines, and then you this and then that, and I'm like, oh my god, he figured it out.
Yeah.
He figured out how to make like really compelling stand-up for someone who's not there.
Well, it's like a late night monologue from one of those late night hosts, but like a real motherfucker doing it, and really giving their actual opinion.
Exactly. It's genius, because like that was an example of someone innovating in like a crisis. Like, there's a situation that happened, you're forced to, everyone, you know, some, like during the pandemic, some people just curled up in a shell and decided, I'm not leaving my house anymore.
Yeah.
And then some people are like, okay, what can we do? Okay, I'm gonna figure out how to do stand up in this little video format, turn your phone sideways.
Yeah.
And then everybody started sharing them, and then that Netflix does a thing, you know, Andrew Schultz Saves America.
Andrew Schultz Saves America.
Yeah, which I don't think they should get the money back because it would save America. How dare you?
Yeah, some of those people are still trapped in the house.
Crazier than ever right now.
But yeah, he did. I mean, even with clips, it's him. I give him that credit. That's
He does it all the time, and he also, you know, because his stuff is local, and a lot of it, like these opening bits that he comes up with, are you kind of have to get them out now.
Yeah.
Right. So you can just release them on like the fucking when we did the P Diddy thing. We went to LA. That's just in P Diddy's house.
Brother, he wrote that shit 10 minutes before he walked up into the forum. 20,000 people. 20,000 people. He wrote it too. And it was I mean, me and Mark Agnon are sitting there like, holy fuck. How did he come up with this? We were just hanging with him.
That's so funny. He's in the group, you know?
Chupa Chups Lollipops. Taste the music. Full service delivery and load gives your move the white glove treatment. You choose a moving help service provider in your area, and they will deliver your U-Box container to your home and load it with your belongings. They'll bring the container back to your local U-Haul store, where we can have it delivered to your new home in town, stored on site, or shipped anywhere in the world. To get a full-service move at a do-it-yourself cost, reserve today at ubox.com.
Beauty is more than meets the eye. It's self-expression, exploring new trends and finding community. It's discovering hair and nail expertise you can trust, brands you love, and rewards for your routine. Discover color, confidence, and joy in your beauty journey. Find your Sally store.
AG1 has been a long-time partner of the show, and I'm excited to share a great offer they have going on right now. You can get a free month supply of AG1's omega-3 supplement and a free bottle of D3K2 with your first subscription order. The omega-3 soft gel supplement complements AG1, making it easy to get the fatty acids you need, while the D3K2 liquid drops can help provide 2 essential vitamins. They're made with high-quality ingredients following the latest scientific research. And together with AG1, they work to give you the nutrients and minerals you might be missing from your diet. If you haven't tried AG1 yet, they're bundling it with their omega-3 and vitamin D3K2 products for free, so it couldn't be a better time to start. Subscribe today and get a 1-month supply of AG omega-3 and a bottle of vitamin D3K2 with your first AG1 order. You'll also get their welcome kit with everything you need to get started on your AG1 journey. So make sure you check out drinkag1.com/Joe Rogan to claim this special offer. That's drinkag1.com/Joe Rogan.
It's sort of like when you have a muscle to do something and you do that thing all the time, then you just get better and better and better at doing that thing, and then you get in the groove. Like we were talking about, like a tell, like like when someone gets in the groove of who they are, like Tony is on Kill Tony. Perfect example.
That's it.
He's locked in. He's in the groove. He's been doing it so long. He knows when to dance and when to pause.
Mm-hmm. When to ask a serious question, when to get goofy, when to let the panel know. It's pretty impressive.
If you can find something like that to do in your life, you'll have a much better life than if you just get a job. And I know that's not not everybody can, but if you can, you definitely should.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, you definitely should do that.
Being excited for every day and nervous and anxious and is this that feeling. I mean, to not have it, I can't believe people go. I get having you got to go to work, you got to make money, but the idea of like, man, never that feeling of anxiety and looking forward to something and it not going the way you planned, and so you got to go the next day and figure out what went wrong, and like I love that. That's what I love about stand-up, the figuring it out, the math of it all.
Yeah. It's a great job, man. We're so fucking lucky.
Yeah, dude.
We're so lucky.
God, you've been in it long enough to see everybody. Did you see this thing Damon Wayans said about you?
Yeah, he said he stole my bitch.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that. But the way he said it, I've never seen someone say I stole a joke, and he was like, man, he said I saw it, and then I actually realized I stole Joe's joke, and I was like, oh, I gotta stop watching motherfuckers. Yeah. It just stuck in the back of his head. But I know you give him his flowers, so I was like, no, that's not a joke feed.
No. That happens, man. Sometimes you think you came up with it, but somebody else did, and you heard it, and you forgot. That can definitely, especially if it's a subject that you never cover, and time has passed, and then this subject comes up, like something comes up, and you like, it almost got like David Tell's the best at that. He'll call you up because you have to check sometimes. Like, hey, have you heard this? You know, like you have like he's the best at that. Dave does that all the time. Like you gotta check every now and then. Like this one seems too easy. Because the memory is weird. You know, memory is weird. You ever go back to like your old neighborhood where you grew up, and you're like, this house is way smaller than I thought it was.
It was a mansion.
It's all different.
Yeah.
The driveway's different. Everything's different. Looks weird. You know, your memory's shitty. It's good. I mean, it keeps you from fucking picking up the wrong spider. But you know, it's not a photographic representation of reality, and that's a problem.
And you guys have been doing stand-up 20 years, and how many bits have you seen?
Just seen too many bits. Yeah. So you can, and then, you know, there's parallel thinking. There's a lot, but you know when someone's a thief and Damon's not a thief. I always said that Damon he might be one of the most underappreciated comics ever, because, like, when he was in his prime, you gotta realize he was like, you know, if you're looking at today, he was like Chappelle. He was like in that same level of recognition as being like one of the best guys alive. But then they got him with those TV shows, man.
And movies, he wanted to be a movie
he was
star.
the last Boy Scout. He was going to be a movie star. He did that big Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis.
And it was a good movie.
Yeah.
And then it looked like he was going to be a movie star after that.
I mean, he had some great, like, Blank Man, where he's a retarded superhero.
That was so ridiculous. Try doing that today.
You couldn't do that so bad.
When he used to do Handyman on Living Color. Oh my God.
They might be one of the greatest families, the Wayne's family for sure.
Who's number two? They're number one.
But they might be 1 and 2, Joe. I don't know who.
What other families are there that are like big, not in comedy? What other families? Am I missing something? Am I forgetting somebody?
I mean, I know In Living Color was so
It's like
big.
them and then the Sklar Brothers. Like, there's no other families.
Yeah,
There's nobody in the hunt.
In Living Color is so big, Joe. Did you notice that the reason we have the Super Bowl halftime show is because of In Living Color?
That's crazy.
So In Living Color,
That's true.
That's true. So before Michael Jackson, the year they brought Michael Jackson was because the year before that, In Living Color aired during the Super Bowl.
Wow.
And they lost so many viewers. They lost like a not half, a big number where that they were like, we can't let people leave during the halftime show because this show is too big.
What year was that?
I want to say Michael Jackson was 95.
It had to be earlier than that.
Maybe 94.
It had to be earlier than that because I remember watching it on TV at a pool hall.
93.
Yeah.
93.
So I was just moving to New York, to LA from New York then. So I was in New York at a pool hall watching it. And I remember watching Fire Marshal Bill. And I'll be like, how can you do this? How is this allowed? Like, it show's crazy. You have to realize for 93, there was nothing like if you think about the internet today and all the crazy videos that people put together and the years of Mad TV and
Yes and no.
Yeah. But back then, man, there was nothing like this show. This show was crazy.
That is Paul. Oh my God, that is Paulie right in the corner.
Oh, look at it, Paulie.
The weave.
Look at him. He's moving the head like a pigeon, bro. He's here now too.
Yeah, I know that
Fun
great.
hanging out with Paulie. It's like being at the store, man.
It's the best.
But
This is unreal. How big this
the
was.
show was great. But Damon, you watch if you want to watch something. Watch I think it's The Last Stand. I think that was one of his. I think that's the name of it. Something like. I think it's The Last Stand, but it's fucking phenomenal. And it's so good, but it's also like so good if you go back to that time, because comedy, like everything else, has evolved with all the scrutiny on it and all the different high-level people that are doing it. Like there's the comedy right now, I think, is at like the highest level that I've ever seen. There's so many really great comedians. I think in the 1980s, like if you go back, you had Kennison, you had Eddie Murphy, you had Richard Pryor. You had George Carlin, you had a bunch of really good guys, Jerry Seinfeld, but not many after that, wasn't as thick.
Yeah.
As thick with assassins. So I think like right now, there's so many assassins out there. There's more arena acts out there right now than has ever been in the history of comedy.
Yeah.
You gotta realize, arena acts started with Dice Clay. So Dice Clay starts off he becomes an arena act in like 87-ish?
Late 80s. That's when arena act comedy started.
Mm-hmm. Before that, and nobody was doing it but Dice. Dice was the only arena act.
Wow.
Yeah, and then arena act number 2, Dane Cook.
And that's how many years later?
Many. Because this is like, Dane Cook becomes an arena act in like the 2000s.
Wow.
Yeah. So then there's Dane Cook. Dane Cook started selling out arenas, and I was like, what is happening? What is happening? And then all of a sudden, the internet happens, and social media happens, and a lot of comics, like we were talking about, like Dave Attell and Colin Quinn. Like Dave Attell's one of the best to ever do it. And if there's ever a club where he's not sold out the moment it's on stage, it's a travesty. It doesn't make any sense. But they didn't connect to the internet the same way, and because the notoriety is not commensurate to the talent, whereas like with Schultz, the notoriety and the talent are perfectly balanced. It's the same level, so everybody knows how good he is and everybody knows who he is. It's like it's locked in, where it's like Dave Attell is this, but like the notoriety is like us talking about him only. Word of mouth
only. His
But it's
social
secret.
media is hot garbage. He's got a flip phone,
He's got a flip
and
phone.
he texts you with a do. He's got to press 4 times to get an R or whatever the fuck it is. It's so stupid.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy. He does it like that.
It's crazy he does it like that. Like, why do you do it like that?
Because he could be on the internet more. I mean, I remember when he had that show, Insomniac. That's when I first saw him.
Let me throw this at you because I've been trying to stay off social media more and more every day, like a little less every day. And the more I do it, the better I feel. It's like not being poisoned. It really is. It's like getting away from a poison that you didn't know was a poison, like some forever plastics in your Starbucks cup or something. You know,
Yeah.
like I quit those Starbucks cups, and all of a sudden, you know what I mean? It's like something like that. Like I quit drinking tap water, and all of a sudden I can think better. You know? Oh, that's right.
1,000 tickets in '78.
Oh my God, that's right. You know,
We always
I forgot
forget
about
about
Steve
that.
Martin. But I forgot about Steve Martin for 2 reasons. One, because Steve Martin was a little different. He was doing stand-up, but it was a lot of songs, and it was, you know what I mean? He was great, by the way. Like, Let's Get Small is phenomenal. But I think he got to a point where comedy became too easy, because so he didn't know what was funny anymore because everybody loved him so much, and he stopped doing stand-up, which is really weird.
Wow.
Probably didn't have good friends.
Yeah,
Because we had good friends, we would grab them like we grabbed Ron White. Remember when Ron White was
Retired.
Yeah, I'm gonna retire. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Isn't comedy fun? Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it is.
So keep doing fun things. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I can't believe I have to give them this advice. Like, you're Ron White. How are you thinking about how much fun are you having when you kill it up there? But I think that was the drinking thing too, man.
Yeah, he's sort of.
Yeah, it was drinking, and it was also he needed a tribe, you know, and he had the tribe a little bit when he was in California, you know, but he was always on the road a lot, you know, and he just decided that being in the center of the country was better. So he was like patient zero of the Austin Revolution.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people think it was me, but it was really Ron, because I came here knowing that Ron was here. I was like, at the very least, Ron's here, you know?
It's two of us.
I'm like, I'm not living like this in California. You're not doing this to me. I know what you're doing. I was like, the fucking caged animal in me is like, I'm getting out. This is gonna go sideways. I'm not gonna be a part of this.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Okay, at least Ron's there. I was like, my life is gonna be worse than it ever was before. My life is gonna be, all my friends are gone. They're not here. I'm in the middle of the country. Maybe I'll see them every now and then. Maybe I'll have to book shows to see them. But at least Ron's here. That's what I decided.
Patient zero.
Yeah, he was patient zero. So, you know,
And now he hangs out every night.
Yeah.
We get around every night.
oh, he's lovely.
He's the young
He's lovely.
We were hanging one time. This is my favorite Ron story. And it's just me, you, and Ron in the green room. And you gifted him a really nice Rolex. And you guys were having a sweet moment. And I couldn't believe I was there to see it. I was like, damn, this is really cool. And you gifted it to him, and y'all were having a conversation like, wow. And he takes off his Rolex, and he tosses it to me. He goes, there you go, Derek. And I go, holy shit, Ron, for real? He says, fuck no, bro. Give me my Rolex. Give me my Rolex back, you idiot. And then you went, so you go, that's the most fucked up shit I've ever seen, Ron.
I forgot about that just right now.
It was the most evil.
So evil.
And you literally were like, Ron, why would you do that?
Well, I thought everybody was just giving out Rolexes up in this
I
bitch.
just thought that was going to be a great moment, and my face was like,
That's hilarious.
but he's the man, dude. I can't believe I'm friends with him, because I've been a fan since I was a kid.
I feel that same way. Yeah, I feel that way about a lot of guys. Like, I can't believe I'm friends with you. It's nice. It's not, but that's good, right? You never stop being both a fan and a person who does it.
Yeah.
I try to separate it. I try to separate me as a comic off stage versus me as a comic on stage. I really do. You know, so I can just be a fan.
Oh, I see
You
what
know,
you're saying. Yeah.
like when I was younger, I used to watch someone going, "Oh, I would do it differently." Like, if they suck, I'll do that. If they suck, I'll go like, "Oh, that premise." I think I'm not explaining this very well. You know, I mean, I start picking it apart that way, but I like to just be a fan. I like to just watch, because I think a lot of people are real hesitant to give up flowers, right? As you
Yeah, they
kids
are.
like to say.
Yeah.
But the reason why is because they don't feel good about comparing themselves to this person who may be doing better than them. So there's a feeling like, he's all right. There's a little bit of that, you know, which
Yeah.
I don't like that.
It doesn't make sense to me either, because watching this game, for the 10 years I've been doing it, it's like, oh, like, There's no like everyone tells me that Sebastian was like nobody knew that he was going to be one of the biggest arena acts we've ever seen when he first started, when he was coming around. Came here before comics. Yeah, be like, oh, he was good, but you didn't see that for him. So it's like, oh, there is no point to judge somebody harshly because this game is long.
Yeah, the game's long, and you figure things out. I was terrible when I started. There's no way to not be. Especially me. I was socially retarded. I'd been hit in the head 150,000 times. I mean, there's some fucking issues there. There were some issues. And I was socially retarded because I spent, like, from age 15 to 21, just did nothing but travel around the country fighting people. That's all I did. So my version of a young adulthood was very weird. Like, it was 100% competition.
Yeah.
That was all it was. That's all I did.
Well, when you hear Joey talk about you when you were younger, like, oh, he was an animal. You know, like, Joe was just an animal. Before you apparently started smoking weed, he was like, you were way more different about it.
But I think a lot of fighters have a hard time transitioning into being a regular person, and I was only an amateur fighter. You know, I couldn't imagine being a guy like, like Dustin Poirier, who's about to retire. You know, like transitioning to being a regular person when he's been this fucking savage killer for so long at the highest level. Like, that's like the highest level in the world. Inside the octagon, knocks out Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
And you're like, ah! And that guy's got to transition to being a regular person. For me, there was no screaming crowds. It was weird high school auditoriums and trying to give people concussions. That's all it was. That was all it was. So, but there was no glory and no money, and it cost me some of my health, for sure. There's, and fear. Constantly living in a state of anxiety that you're going to have to fight against soon. Constantly. And for some weird reason, I was always like, why am I doing this to myself? I don't have to do this. Like, this doesn't pay me any money. I don't have to do it. Why do I keep signing up to do this?
The NBA 82 game grind is done, and now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs are here, and it's time for all the high-stakes drama, clutch moments, and jaw-dropping plays. I can't wait. If you're looking to make the playoffs even more exciting, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered as an official sports betting partner of the NBA. From the play-in games all the way through to the finals, now's your time to back your favorite players and teams as they chase glory. All season long, DraftKings has been the go-to spot for NBA player props, and that doesn't stop now. Want to make your playoff experience even more intense? Try placing a bet on your favorite player's performance. Ready to place your first bet? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, lock in your bets, and let's make this playoff run unforgettable. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Make it a playoff run to remember with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code ROGAN. That's code ROGAN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Harry's has your grooming routine covered with great products at an honest price, but they won't make you a rugged man of mystery. For that, you'll need to fall in love in the south of France, have your heart broken, wander the docks and witness an arms deal, get captured, escape into the wilderness, face the elements, your fears, your demons, and reach a silent understanding with a pack of wolves. We can't make you a rugged man of mystery. You'll love the way you look and smell, though. Harry's, man, that feels good.
Did you ever have any ambition to go to take it to the next level?
Yeah, but there was no money. I remember I got offered $500 to do a kickboxing fight. And so if I did that kickboxing fight, I couldn't fight amateur anymore. And I was like, $500. So then I can't, Like if I ever decided to like try to compete in the Olympics again, because I was trying to get on the national team to compete in the Olympics. But somewhere along the line, I got a little disenchanted with Taekwondo, and one of the ways that it happened is I started kickboxing, and I started getting beat up because my hands were dog shit. So like I was really good kicking, but if I got into boxing exchanges, I was terrible. My chin was up in the air. I was fucking swinging punches like a bitch. It was awful. I get hit really hard. If I hit you, you're in trouble. But it was not good. And so I realized like, oh, there's a giant flaw in this. Like for actual real fights, there's a giant flaw in this. And as soon as I started kickboxing, particularly this friend of mine who was a really good boxer, Dana Rosenblatt, he was one of my training partners, and he became New England middleweight champion. He beat Vinny Pazienza in a decision. He lost to him one fight and then beat him in a decision. He was legit. He knocked out Howard Davis Jr., who was a Olympic gold medalist. He was a bad motherfucker. And he also, when I was training with him, made me realize that I didn't really want to do this anymore. That I was just doing this because I had done it my whole life, and this was like what I decided I was doing. And I was like, not only is there no future in this, there's a lot of brain damage coming my way. Like 100%, I'm getting it right now. And, you know, just sparring with Dana, me and him sparring, I don't know how many times we sparred, but we would beat the fuck out of each other, dude.
Damn, really?
Oh, it was horrible. Yeah, I'd go home with headaches. And if we were in boxing range, he was tuning me up, so I was always trying to stay on the outside because his hands were way better than mine. But we cracked each other. Oh,
You and Dana White would fight?
No. My friend Dana Rose.
Okay, I was like,
no.
I heard Dana, and I was like,
But if me and Dana were friends, we would do that too. Like, I sparred with a lot of my friends. We beat the shit out of each other. It was horrible, but that's how you do what you have to do. You know what the beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu is, about kickboxing, is you don't have this kind of animosity with your sparring partners. Because like if you're in a good gym, in kickboxing, you're always hurting each other. And he's like, even if you love a guy and you spar with him, you're always hurting each other. So you always have this thing where you're like, fuck that dude. That dude gave me a fucking headache. You know what I mean? You think about getting him back. Like, think about it. He cracked you with a left hook. You're like, I am going to get him back. I can't wait to get him back. Whereas with jiu-jitsu, you can't wait to tap somebody, but you're not hurting each other. You know, if you get hurt, it's an accident. The injuries in jiu-jitsu are usually either strain related or, you know, you didn't tap. Right? It's either you strained to get out of something, or you pulled yourself the wrong way, or you didn't tap. But in kickboxing, like your legs are getting fucked up every day. Wham, wham, no matter what. And those pads, they help a little.
Damn, they're huge, though, those pads. When they look like it when I'm watching
they help a little. Yeah, if somebody kicks you, like if Israel Adesanya kicks you with one of those pads on, that shit, you can't believe the kind of agony that's involved in that way to make a living. So I was only doing it because I didn't know what to do. I was still, but I wasn't the same person that I used to be. I was, at one point in time, I was just a mad dog. And then I realized, like, I'm going to get really hurt, and there's no future in this, you know?
Wow. Were you already 1 foot in, 1 foot out, or did you just stop? 2 feet in, but you were like, I'm done.
You know what it was, really? I had one fight. When I fought in the Nationals in Anaheim. And I beat the first guy, so I got into the second round. And the second guy was this kid, I think he was from Illinois, I don't remember. But he was like super aggressive. And I hit him with the hardest wheel kick I've ever thrown in my life. It was perfect. He charged in with like a left switch kick. So he was like, did a hopping roundhouse kick off the left side. And I recognized it right away. There was a pattern. He was making this pattern when he was moving. He would do this thing, and then he would always do this. He would do this thing, and then he would always do this. So I saw that pattern, and I said, here it comes. And so he went with his hopping roundhouse kick. I countered with this wheel kick. And I hit him so hard that my heel was sore for days. I was limping for days because of the way my heel bounced off his face. And he face planted, snoring. Like, they snore when they go out. Have you ever seen anybody get knocked out?
Oh, yeah.
On the internet, of course you have. But, I'd seen it a few times in the gym. It's spooky. It's spooky. And so my thing, what I would always do when I knock somebody out, is walk away like it was nothing. Like, that's what I always do. Like, that's what I do.
Yeah.
I didn't celebrate. I just would turn my head and walk away.
Cool.
And I was talking to my friend Jungsick, who was, he was U.S. national champion. He was a training partner of mine. He was sitting in the seat, and I said, I'll never forget this. I'm like, is he moving? He's like, he hasn't gotten up. And so then they get him an ambulance. And so they put this kid on a stretcher, and they have him sitting out there for 30 minutes and he's just on the stretcher for 30 minutes, and then they bring him in the ambulance and they take him to the hospital. And I'm like, yo.
When he said he wasn't moving yet, did you feel like,
yeah, he could be dead? So this is what scared me. So I had this trainer, this instructor, who's like one of the best Taekwondo instructors in the world. And I say to him, what he said to me, he goes, I heard you had a really good knockout at the Nationals. And I said, yes, sir. I said it was kind of scary because I thought for a while that he was dead. And he goes, sometimes they die. And he walked away. I was like, oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus Christ. And he was fucking serious. He used to train troops in Vietnam. Like, he was a hardcore dude. He was hardcore.
oh my God, sometimes they die?
Sometimes they die. Yeah. I think it was Vietnam where he trained troops. I forget where he trained troops, but he was like an elite Taekwondo instructor, and he was, his mind was like, his name is Master Jae-Hun Kim, and he's the guy who runs the Jae-Hun Kim Taekwondo Institute. Like, that's his business, and that's the place where I came. But he was like one of the few guys that was trained under General Chae Young-yi, who was the founder of Taekwondo. So like there's a handful of black belts that were trained by this one guy. So it was like a different style. So their style was very violent and very power oriented. Whereas there was like an Olympic style that was emerging, that was very points oriented. It was just move fast and like tap and score, and they would yell and shit like that. Like every time they'd hit, they'd scream out. And so the Olympic style was more effective at winning tournaments. And so the best guys were adopting like this Olympic style. But there was an older style that was just, maybe they telegraphed the moves a little bit more, and maybe it was a little slow, but the impact was very different. Those guys were killers.
Yeah.
They were knocking people unconscious. It was very scary. So that's the gym that I grew up in. So I had this very fortunate place that I just stumbled into. You know, I happen to be like one of the best Taekwondo gyms in the country, especially for generating power, because they like really emphasize heavy back work. Like he really emphasized heavy back work. It's like you have to generate power. If you hit somebody and it doesn't hurt, that's ridiculous. You gotta be able to hit someone and just put them out.
Would you get into a lot of street fights before this, or
no?
Even before Taekwondo, you weren't even getting into fights.
Before Taekwondo, I was a pussy.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't fight at all. So like, why would I get in fights? I was trying to get away from fights. I was trying to avoid everybody. I was terrified.
Wow.
And so I just got tired of being fucked with because I was a pussy. Because I would get nervous. Because I moved around a lot. I didn't have a lot of friends. We moved a bunch of times when I was a kid. So I was always around new kids. And I wasn't big, so they would fuck with me. You know, it's just normal. So, you know, and I didn't know how to fight. It's like, bothered the shit out of me. So I'm like, well, there's only one solution. You know, you got to become what you're scared of.
So you put yourself into Taekwondo. You were like, hey, I want to do this.
Yeah, I got a job. Started working, washing dishes at Newport Creamery. Got enough money so I could take Taekwondo lessons.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And then I started going every day. So after a while, he realized like it would be better if I was just there all the time instead of working. And so he gave me a job.
I did not know that about
you. So I was teaching. So I started teaching when I was like 15. I was teaching people when I was 15. And then when I was 19, I was teaching at Boston University. I used to teach a class, accredited class. It was pass, fail, A. And I would tell everybody, it would count towards your GPA. So I'd say, if you come here, you get an A. That's all you have to do. Just try. You're going to get an A. And it counts towards your GPA. And I'd tell them that at the beginning of the class. I go, if you can't come, if you can't make it, just call me and tell me that you can't make it, but I want you to come. I want you to come every time you can. And if you do that, I'm going to get you better. We're all going to learn something. I'm going to really get into this. So I was really good at teaching. I was really, really into
That's how you were in there. In the gym when we work out, you had that same energy. So it's like, oh, that came from a place.
Yeah, well, that's what I was doing for a living. So from 15 to 19, I was just teaching. So what my instructor allowed me to do, I guess I was training after about 6 months or so, and he said, look, you could train here for free. All you have to do is teach private lessons. And I was like, great. So I would teach people, the new people. I would teach them how to bow. I'd teach them how to tie their gi on. I would teach them how to stand. I would teach them different techniques, and I would go through them and get them so they're ready to join
to group classes because you couldn't just go into group classes. You wouldn't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like they're like front kick, you're like looking around. Someone's got to teach you how to do it. So it was always like a big deal to let like one of your little birds loose into the main class. Like you teach them, get their front kick going, get the side kick going. They go through a series of private lessons. I tell them to practice on their own, look using the mirror, give them a bunch of like things to think about as they break down the movements.
And you just literally, I've seen you do it in there. That is what the mothership is. It's really just a fucking dojo to get better.
Yeah.
And everything is about everyone pushing each other to get better and like learning together.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, you've been on this teacher shit.
Well, that's also what my instructor explained to me when I was really young too. Like I say this all the time. I even said it on the podcast yesterday. Martial arts are a vehicle for developing your human potential. That's what it is. It's just you're using martial arts as a way to get better at life. Because this is a really hard thing, and if you could do this really hard thing, other things won't be as hard. You'll be able to, you'll have more mental and physical horsepower for regular everyday life. You'll have more ability to overcome adversity and weird moments, uncomfortable moments. You're used to being uncomfortable. It's fine. You'll be fine. It's different.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I came up, I played football, college football. Like, I was a football player my whole life. And that was,
bro, that was another one for break dance. How's your head?
How's your head, dog? I'm addicted to training, boy. There's some problems. So I got some problems. I got some demons. But I agree. But the idea of like, because that's so yourself. You're dealing with fighting. You're dealing with yourself.
You're always yourself.
Whereas I came. My whole thing was team. You get to lean on people. You're leaning on each other, and that's what's making you better. Is how we play the best as a group.
Right.
You know.
Well, that's great too, and I think that's probably more beneficial to society. So learning how to play in a team. My problem was like, you know, when I
was a bad motherfucker.
Look at you, handsome off then. Look at you, so handsome. You look like a fucking model, dog.
Oh, dude, I went to that's one of the top high school football
Bro,
schools.
We get you back to looking like that. You could look like that again.
I know.
You just get a lay off the car.
They're so good. Oh, they're so good, dude. Come on. Hot Cheetos and pasta. Oh my god. And then just because you stopped, you told me the other day you haven't been drinking again. You stopped drinking, right?
Yeah, it's been more than a month now.
Yeah.
A month and some weeks.
You walked in and you were like, 3 weeks off, boys. I was like, Jesus, fuck, dude.
Bro, I had all this fucking side fat and belly fat that just went away. But like most importantly, I just feel better. Like I never have days where I'm recovering from being drunk. Like I sound like shit now because I have allergies, which is hilarious because I always made fun of people. I was like, they're like, yeah, 3 to 5 years, you'll get allergies. I'm like, shut up, pussy. I'm not getting these fucking bitch-ass allergies you guys get. Now here I am.
Yeah, so you might be.
Yeah, it's so annoying. It's so annoying for everybody to be right.
Hell yeah, my wife gets me on that honey, natural. If you get honey from a local honey, it gets rid of your allergies.
I've heard that too, but the lady that we had in here that was a beekeeper says it's bullshit.
Fuck.
Yeah. Not only that, she said most honey that, like, not most, she said a lot of honey that you buy in the store is not really honey. Yeah, they fuck you. They put, like, corn syrup and some fucking this and that, and yeah, they have fake honey.
Fuck, man.
Isn't that crazy?
Is anything real?
Isn't that crazy?
Why would they do that?
China. They're getting us. They're like, these dummies, they're not gonna check.
They're not gonna check. Because
Because
it's
like,
like,
remember what she said, Jamie? What percentage she said? But she did say that a lot of honey was fake honey, right? Bro.
it doesn't make sense because that's such a thing that's been natural in my head since the dawn of time, right? Honey.
Have you ever seen those cats that in the Himalayas? I think is it Tibet? Where is it where they get that psychedelic honey?
The new H2 Pro system separates clean and dirty water. The new H2 Pro from Mo Cedar.
The future of trading is here on Robinhood.
Figures are increasing when we highlight product benefits.
Great, so let's focus on that.
I have a few ideas.
Nuance Audio is the new invisible hearing solution built into your glasses.
Called Mad Honey. Remember, Jamie? Who brought that in for us? We did it during the show.
Oh,
Yeah, we took some Mad Honey during the show.
how was the trip?
Sonny from Best Ever.
That's
Food
right.
Show brought it.
Shout out to Sonny. It wasn't. I mean, I was fine.
We really didn't do anything that crazy. You definitely knew that you were on something. But he was like, take a little bit. I'm like, fuck this. Give me a teaspoon. I took the whole teaspoon. I'm like, let's go. I'm like, I want to go. Like Joey Diaz always says, I want to meet the devil. Fuck your microdosing. I'm trying to meet the devil. You guys are fucking crazy.
I would see you do that before stage.
School.
You would take a full nugget of a mushroom.
Don't tell the police are
Oh,
listening.
yeah, okay. You were eating something. I don't know what it was.
I think that is the first thing we have to make legal. We got to get Trump on mushrooms. Just get him to have a little microdose. He'd be like, I'm really killing the game. You are killing the game, sir.
My wife is
These
not.
mushrooms great.
Yeah. God, that'd be crazy to see him on mushrooms.
Oh my god.
So
Every politician should be on mushrooms. All wars would end. Do you know how crazy that is for me to say that, and it's also true? It sounds so stupid, also because it's me and I'm stupid. But if a scholar, of someone who you really trust at the pinnacle of science today, said if we could just get the whole world on mushrooms, all the wars would stop. Everyone would stop dehumanizing people. Everyone would stop treating people like others. Everyone would realize, like, oh wow, we're really all connected in some bizarre way that's difficult to interface with sometimes, but we're all connected. We get selfish and we think about ourselves only, but if we cannot, that's like one of the beautiful things about camaraderie and community. If you cannot, then you all sort of like lock in. You realize like, we're all experiencing this thing together. We're all like one thing that's separated by biology, but our soul, our spirit, our whatever it is that is us inside of our meat bag, is a soul, and it's connected to all the other souls in some strange way. And if you can figure out, it's almost like you're listening to it's almost like there's jackhammers going off around you, but you hear a really good song in the distance. Like, God, I can almost hear that song.
Almost beautiful.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, you ever been in a restaurant, everybody's talking, but there's just some jam is playing on the radio, and you're like, God, I want to hear that song.
Yeah, just a Marvin Gaye
That's what
through.
it's like. That's what it's like.
Yeah.
I think there's different strategies that people use to try to get there, and I think God is one of them. Like, even the concept of God, I think what you're trying to do is to get to that place where you recognize, like, through strategies of, like, tactics of following commandments and having a mindset and giving all your faith to Jesus and all your faith to, like, just by act of doing that, what you're doing is you're trying to get closer and closer to whatever the fuck that beautiful, beautiful song is that's playing amongst all the noise, because you know it's there. It's just like, you hear down there, down there, down there, down there. Oh man.
Yeah. No, I remember, I don't know who this comic said this, but it was great. I always thought it was a joke. But he said how people think they're Americans or Chinese or whatever, but we're all on this planet. Like, just zoom out.
Yeah.
Whatever you think you are, just zoom out a little
It's a
bit.
trap. It's just
It's a
the
trap.
Republican Democrat trap. It's just like the Texas California trap. Shut up. We're all just people. We're all people. And that's one of the beautiful things about traveling. You meet friends in Scotland, you meet friends in Ireland, you meet friends in Australia. Like, people are just people, man. We're just all people. We adapt to whatever our environment is. We adapt to the culture, the way people sound their words out, you know?
Yeah, dude.
You want to fit in. If you want to fit in, you move to the South, you start saying y'all. You know? You said y'all yet?
Oh, I say y'all.
When did you start?
But I'm from Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, that's
So I'm a
right.
little
So you've always had this, you've always had a y'all past.
Yeah, I've been a y'all.
I was born in New Jersey and I'm mostly Italian. For me, y'all is a stretch. I don't want to be disingenuous.
Does it ever come out of you?
No. Never? For funsies. Yeah, but it never accidentally comes out. Like, y'all gonna go? I'm 57.
Yeah.
I say you. Are you guys? It's like, like, accents are weird, man. You don't realize you have them until you hear them, and you're like, oh, why do I sound like that?
And it's impressive when you see people who can do them.
I didn't know I had a deep Boston accent until I was on television for the first time. When I was 19, I won the Bay State Games, and I was on this, like, local TV news thing, and I got a chance to hear myself on TV. I was like, oh my God, I sound like a fucking idiot. Like, what is it? Like, heavy Boston accent.
Yeah, you don't have it as bad.
I got rid of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a dumbass accent.
But then you started talking to everybody with a million different accents on the pod, so I'm
I
sure
know,
you've heard all the different
you
versions.
get neutral after a while, I think. Your voice gets neutral.
But you're not all the way like newscaster neutral, where it's just that, and now, that
That's
kind of
the
shit.
opposite of comedy, right? Because that doesn't hypnotize anybody.
Oh, no.
When that guy's talking the news, like, this is a presentation from NBC News.
Yeah.
Look at my tie. Look at the pocket square.
I'm serious.
I am a serious person. Most of those guys are freaks. That's what I love when those guys get caught.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, those guys are just doing coke and banging
Just in a harem of gay men. It's insane.
Valets, they're animals. These guys are animals. But on television, I present the news. You want to wear a cock ring and fucking freaks. All those people that pretend to be proper. Those are the ones you got to keep your eye on.
Yeah, they never have real opinions either. It's all just whatever. It's just a job.
Bill Cosby was the guy who pushed the most for clean comedy.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, is it though? Is it though? Like scolding everybody for their language and their subject matter. He was scold comedians.
That Eddie Murphy bit is so good though. When he told Richard Pryor that Bill Cosby, he's like, "You making money? Yeah. Are people laughing?
Laugh.
Yeah.
Do you get paid? You tell Bill to have a coke in his mouth. Shut the fuck up."
It's one of the greatest jokes of all time, dude. It's so good.
Well, it's so good too because Eddie Murphy can do such good impressions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the accents.
He's another one. Like, they should stop doing comedy. Like, if Eddie Murphy would have been bigger than all of them, all the arena acts we were talking about before, Eddie Murphy would have been bigger. Bigger. Bro, he was so good. He was so powerful. Go back and watch Delirious. Oh my God, he was like 20.
Hey, that's what's crazy. Whenever I do watch Delirious, I'm like,
He was like 20.
and he's got full command of this, 4,000 seater, 5,000 seater?
Murdering. Wearing a leather jumpsuit or some shit.
Chest out. Fucking ass out, dude. Oh my God.
Yeah. This is crazy. But it's interesting, like, people, the paths they choose in life, you know?
Movies be calling.
I think it's called Velvet Prison.
Yeah, I've heard you say that to Hassan once about writing jobs. That's a Velvet Prison.
That's another Velvet Prison. But, like, I'm sure Damon Wayans had a good time making all those TV shows. But it wouldn't have been amazing to see him being this guy that's, like, selling out arenas all over the world? Like, that's where it should be.
He would still be doing it right now.
He could do it right now. He could just abandon all that TV nonsense right now and go back to it and still be one of the best alive. You know, that guy records, like, every show. He has a camera that he takes with him on a tripod. He sets it up. He records every fucking show. And he puts them all on his computer. He goes, I've been doing this since 94. I'm like, wow. Yeah.
That's so many fun. And how many specials he doesn't have?
No, they're not a lot of specials.
Yeah. Compared to other guys where you see
Not compared to how good he is.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's crazy. You just, you know, someone's paying you, you go, you enjoy your work, you like it. You know, there's nothing wrong with those decisions. And he's obviously very successful. But, you know, when you gotta think, like, when you see guys like Schultz selling out arenas and Bert selling out arenas and Tony selling out arenas, and it's like, don't you want to get in on that? Like, come on, man. Talk to me, David. I'll help you.
Oh my God, that'd be sick to see him make that come back.
Yeah, I'd love to see him do that. I just think, after a while, do you really want to work for somebody? Do you really want to show up and, you know, read the script and do the tape? I mean, do you want to do that? No. Fuck.
I love just showing up 8 o'clock. Oh man, get up 4 or 5 times in a night. Oh, there's nothing. I love it, dude. I mean, the idea of doing some stuff seems fun, but to make it I saw Seinfeld say that. He was like, man, we have one of the few jobs where people want this job.
Yeah.
How many, like, very rarely do I see it. I don't know. There's no job where I'm like, oh, I'd really like to be that.
Yeah.
This is the job.
It's one of them, that's for sure. Rockstar's probably the big one.
Rockstar's probably the biggest.
Yeah.
But I don't
see the Rockstar thing. They could sing the same ass song every night forever.
Yeah.
Like, if you had the Rolling Stones, you could still sing Brown Sugar. Oh, can't sing it anymore. Can't sing that one. They don't sing Brown Sugar anymore.
No, come on.
Bro, you ever see the lyrics of Brown Sugar?
What are the actual lyrics? What is it, John?
There's a reason why they don't sing it anymore. It's a great song. Don't get me wrong. It's still on my Spotify playlist. But I think I might have pulled it out. I might get scared. Where'd you see the lyrics?
That playlist is crazy long.
It's great. Yeah, the
Oh,
playlist.
we get turned up in there.
How do you do? I think that playlist was like 35 hours long now.
You keep adding to it.
I keep adding to it. I love it.
Yeah, every once in a while,
33 hours and 49 minutes.
Yeah. I love when we're in there, and then I'll be like, who the fuck is playing this? And I look up, you're just like, it's like, Joe, who got you on the Black Panther album? You just listen to some random shit. Hey, who got you on this?
Oh yeah, I love a good random shit. Like if I'm in a bar and I hear some cool random song, I love like that's why I love that Shazam app. Ooh, that's so nice. Up here. Here it is.
With Galvani Ricotta, you got a breakfast. You got a dinner. You got a dessert. You got a taste of Dolce Vita. You got a ricotta with Galvani, Italy's #1 cheese brand.
Create your own sunshine and gradually step into your daily tan with Jergens Natural Glow.
Strengthen your home with an earthquake retrofit. A retrofit can help keep your family protected. A retrofit can help keep your investment protected. A retrofit can help keep your home protected. Visit strengthenyourhouse.com to learn about better protecting your home from earthquake damage.
Another game? I'm done for the day, and so is my shoulder. Reach for Arnicare when sore muscles take you out of the game. This scientifically formulated pain reliever has no strong medicine smell, no greasy residue, and can be applied directly to where it hurts. Arnicare is powered by Arnica, an ingredient that has been trusted for centuries to provide relief from muscle pain, stiffness, and bruising. Don't let pain stop you from doing what you love. Reach for Arnicare and get back into the game. Available where you shop.
Yeah, Gold Coast slave ship bound for cotton fields, sold in a market down in New Orleans. Scarred old slaver knows he's doing all right. Hear him whip the women just around midnight. Brown sugar, how come you taste so good? Brown sugar, just like a young girl should. Yeah. Drums beating, cold English blood runs hot. Lady of the house wondering where it's gonna stop. Houseboy knows that he's doing all right. You should have heard him just around midnight. This song's horrific.
This song's crazy.
Brown sugar, how comes he tastes so good? Brown sugar, just like a young girl should. Oh, yeah. Get down on the ground, brown sugar. How come you taste so good? Get down, brown sugar, just like a young girl should. I bet your mama was a tent show queen, and all her boyfriends were sweet 16. I'm no schoolboy, but I know what I like. You should have heard me just around midnight. This song's crazy.
He was fucking, Mick Jagger was losing his mind.
This is a crazy song. Just to write all this down, slave ship? Did you say slave
ship?
Just like a young girl ship. What?
Yeah, brown sugar, you taste so good.
Sold in a market? What? And it scrolled down a little bit. This was another one that I'm not sure what they're saying here. Hold on. Go scroll down a little bit. Oh yeah. I bet your mama was a tent show queen.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
What the fuck does that mean?
What is a tent show queen? What's a tent show?
Well, it's whatever it is, she's getting fucked.
Something horrible.
Whatever happened in that tent.
That song is crazy, so they don't play that song anymore when you go see the Stones.
You saw them, you've seen them live,
yeah.
right?
Bro, you see them live, you can't believe they're really there. You're like, well, is that really them? It just seems so strange. A tent show.
Yeah, they're probably one of the, if not, no, they're definitely one of the biggest names of all time.
Tent shows are a generic term for traveling shows that pitch tents. So a tent show queen would have been a feature performer, probably in a vaudeville act. If the song is progressing forward in time, the fact that she had a 16-year-old's boyfriend suggests she's either extremely sexually liberal or more likely prostituting herself. If she's prostituting herself, the power dynamic is reiterated, a black woman at the mercy of paying white men. Huh? What kind of fucking scholarly take on this song is that? What is that? What do they say? This is so weird.
No, that's fucking crazy.
There's a weird definition.
Yeah, there's a website that gives you insight on lyrics. It's crowdsourced, but doesn't necessarily mean it's accurate.
Oh, I see. Because I'm reading this, I'm like, the power dynamic is reiterated. What? A black woman at the mercy of paying white men. Yep. She advertises herself during the show and then sleeps on the side.
What is that?
I'm not,
Those shows, though, you ever seen any of those black box shows?
Used to be monsters. They were monsters.
Yeah,
They were
dude.
monsters. Carnies would come into town. These carnival people would rob everybody and steal, and probably murder. Just dirty people traveling around trying to stay alive and conning people out of their money. And you know, the bearded ladies got fucking glued hair stuck to her face. You know, what did I pay to see?
They still do that shit.
Oh yeah.
You ever heard of this place called The Box in London? And they have one in New York too, with The Box?
No.
Schultz took me, this fucking psychopath. We go to The Box. It's after we do Royal Albert Hall. It's a great night. We go to The Box around 2 a.m. That's when the show starts.
Really?
It's one of those kind of shows.
2 a.m.
2 a.m. They take your phone, they lock it up.
Whoa.
Joe, there's people shitting on stage and rubbing themselves in shit and fucking each other on stage.
What?
And putting crazy, huge dildo rods in each other.
Are you getting anybody in trouble by saying this?
No, this is an organized business.
This is
We
legal.
have multiple of these. The Box, yeah, that's it.
And they were shitting on each other?
Shitting on Joe. Shitting on each other.
Did you worry about getting shit on you while you were there? How close were you to these people?
We had like a nice little booth. Luckily, we were with Schultz. He had a nice
You had no when to panic and get out of the building if shit starts flying around.
Oh, dude, it was crazy.
Once people start shitting in public, like, I'm out. I
He
can
was
watch
dressed like a
this
baby.
online. I don't have to be here in person.
That night, I was great. I was ready to fight because I was about to fight Schultz and them. I walked in, and there's trannies, there's all, there's all kind of people in there.
Right.
Right when I walk in, with a big dude, dressed like a woman, but a dude, big, ripped,
Right.
just fucking reached for my balls and dick as we're walking in. Oh, yo, what the fuck, man? I'm looking at, but nobody else sees this happen to me. I have this off, and he keeps walking, and now I'm on 10. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? You're not having fun anymore. Now I'm ready to fight. This is crazy. This guy just like trying to touch my dick. What the fuck is going on?
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, and they think Kevin Spacey me. He fucking Kevin Spacey me.
I think amongst that community, that is a common way of saying hello.
Oh, it was working for him. I saw him later. Fucking pretty much having sex with the guy later.
Yeah.
But
You just gotta take a chance. You look like a gay guy. That's what he's trying to say.
I think he's all flagrant. I don't know what he's
It's beautiful.
Yeah, but
Maybe he did see that.
that's what Schultz said later.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But-
Probably saw that out.
I didn't know, so
Let's go.
I'm on 10, but they think I'm on 10 because everyone's gay. So Schultz and them are like, Eric, you gotta stop being homophobic, man. Like, it's just a weird show. And I was like, I'm about to fucking kill you guys. They got trying to grab my dick. And it was just it was like a curb your enthusiasm level of miscommunication. But I mean, it was one of the, I've never been more mad.
Really?
Yeah, well, the idea of a grown man touching my dick physically like that, it was just,
It's very
I
disrespectful.
don't like being disrespected like that.
It's scary.
It's scary.
Well, imagine being a woman and that happens.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
That's reality. There's bad people out there. You know, guys grabbing asses in bars and beating up boyfriends. And, yeah, you gotta be careful. You can run into the wrong dudes. You know how people are jealous of, other comics' success? Well, that ain't shit compared to, like, the way ugly dudes are jealous of handsome guys with a good-looking girl. Whew, then that guy becomes the enemy. Look at this fucking pussy. Look at this fucking pussy with that girl. Look at her at that fucking pussy. And they all, those mutts, they all get together and speak mutt language. Yeah, fuck him. Probably from out of town. Probably from that other piece of dirt where all those pussies live. Where you from, pussy? From that pussy town?
Just another town
Down
over.
the road? Some fucking rival baseball team that beat them when they were in 7th grade and they still haven't let go of it.
Yeah, dude, they get pissed.
Yeah, there's a lot of idiots in the world, man. They all need mushrooms.
They all need mushrooms.
Mushrooms would make you'd abandon all that towny shit. You'd be like, what? Oh my god, this is so silly.
Yeah, you realize how big the world is.
Yeah, I picked such a small camp. Town of 2,200 in the middle of Nebraska. Trying to start fights with the people from Des Moines.
Yeah.
Fucking Iowa faggots. People are so silly. They're so silly.
God, how fast would you have kicked that guy into oblivion if he tried to grab your dick like that?
Well, you don't want to just escalate right to like extreme violence.
That's what I told Joseph. They were like, "Why you look so angry?" And I was like, "Bro, I was on. You hit that point where it's like I'm not having fun anymore. I'm here now.
You gotta be careful, man. People get stabbed. People get shot. Extreme violence should be reserved for really defending yourself.
Yeah.
You have to defend yourself. You have to know you're actually being attacked.
That guy was literally trying to have this guy on Molly. I'm sure he's drugged up. You're on Molly. You're on this. You're on that.
Yeah.
Cocaine, and you're dressed like a fairy.
You should never exchange violence with someone unless you fucking have to. You should avoid it at all. That's why I never had any street fights. Like, avoid it at all. I mean, I had like one in high school. I had two in high school. They were nothing though. No big deal.
But then once I started competing, I was done with all that.
Yeah.
But if you do tune somebody up, like they die sometimes. Like what my instructor was saying is true, especially in the real world, because people fall and they hit their head on the concrete. That happens. People die like that all the time. They get knocked out, their head bounces off the concrete, and then they're dead.
Yeah.
It's like getting a giant rock dropped on your head from like a second-story building.
Boom, baby. T-Rex, things people love.
Me, your brother. I need your help.
The Accountant 2 is undeniably awesome.
Really?
Yeah. It's better than the original in every way.
In case I need a part and I die.
The Accountant 2, rated R.
Receive up to $6,000 annually. National University's Believe and Succeed Scholarship can help make your bachelor's achievable. Launch your degree and career. It's time to believe.
You're sick. On vacation. Good thing Amazon Pharmacy will deliver meds right to the hotel. Because your wife's not going out there alone with them.
Yeah. Think about what the Earth is. You know, like the Earth, like the concrete is immobile and so hard. And all of the weight of your 200+ pound body falls backwards and your head bounces off that concrete. And it's the most sickening sound. Ugh.
God, you hear it all the time when
That's-
people get knocked out.
Yeah, but that's like way safer
Yeah.
than getting knocked out on the concrete. But yeah, I do hear it all the time. It bothers the shit out of me when I see someone's head bounce. When they get KO'd and their head bounces off the ground, I'm like, oh! Bro, did you ever see the one when Josh Emmett knocks out Bryce Mitchell? Oh my god, dude. It's one of the worst one-punch knockouts in the history of the sport. He knocks him out and Bryce Mitchell's legs are twitching and he's like locked up, completely out cold. And when he goes down, now imagine someone gets hit like that on the street and you fall back like that on concrete. So not only do you get destroyed by the punch, but then you get destroyed again by the earth covered in concrete, bouncing off the back of your head with all the weight of your body and leverage to the back. The head is the first thing that hits. Your head flies back, and all this weight is bang. Watch this. Well, this is a crazy knockout, dude.
It's so fast you don't even really
See,
see
look
it.
at his legs start shaking. Yeah, you hear DC saying he's shaking. He's shaking, Joe.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, flush.
Flush. And Josh Emmett is a little tank. I mean, he's 145 pounds for about 5 seconds till he weighs in. Then he probably weighs about 170, and he hits like a fucking mule. Look at this. Boom! Look at the back of that motherfucker. Look how he's built, man. And imagine how much force is involved in that guy punching you in the face.
Woo. Oh, the craziest one I ever seen live was we were together. We were in Phoenix, and it was when Chandler kicked Tony Ferguson.
Oh my God.
That's one of the scariest ones. I remember I was high too, so I was like,
Well, you watch his soul leave his body.
I saw it, Joe.
Spiral back down into
it was scary. I remember how scared I was for this grown man. I'm like, oh my God, he hasn't moved, and you just see
Look at
that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I saw that
might
live.
be one of the best front kicks of all time. That's perfect. The technique is perfect.
I mean, that's a real picture. That's a live. That he made his face look like that.
That's so crazy. He looks like a grandpa in a Pixar movie. Doesn't he?
But oh, that was a scary. That was the scariest one I've seen. But my favorite knockout I've ever seen was that. I mean, we were all in the green room. I don't know if you were there for this, but it was Whitney's weekend. It was 12, 15 of us in that green room, and it was when Izzy knocked out Peloton. Knocked out
Oh my
Barrera.
God. That
He got
was
him
the
back.
greatest celebration of all time.
At all
time.
Fortify your mind.
Yeah.
That line sticks
Not
with you.
just
I
that,
said to
the
myself.
whole thing from beginning to end, the 3 arrows into his body while he was down.
Breaks it.
Yeah, Izzy looks at his son and then falls on his back to mock his son because his son had mocked him. That's
Years
how petty
ago.
he is. Years ago.
It was Kill Bill
So he
level
looks
revenge.
at his son who falls down like the kid did.
Yep.
A little kid.
And then he pops back up.
Then he he pops back up, and then he gives like the best post-fight speech in the history of the sport.
It was like he wrote it already. It was. I remember how
Wish you
beautiful
could
it
feel
was.
this one time
In your life.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh.
And watch this.
Oh, I mean, that lights you up, dude.
Bro, and then watch as he finds his son.
Remembers.
He remembers. Look, like, points to you. Look, you. Check this out.
That kid's like 7 years old. That's fucking. I mean, that's literally.
That's so petty. That's so petty. That's so petty. He remembered. Found
Oh
him.
yeah, he's like, oh yeah.
Check this out.
Motherfucker, think I forgot. Now, Joe, was he lulling him? Was he when he?
No,
when
he was
looked-
getting fucked
He was
up.
really getting fucked up. Okay.
Yeah, his leg, he told me that his leg was getting compromised already. One of the things in the first fight, so the first fight in the UFC, Poatan wins, and he wins by stoppage, and Izzy said, I wasn't even really hurt, I just couldn't move because he had fucked my leg up so much, I couldn't get out of the way of his punches. He's like, but I wasn't hurt, like real badly hurt, to the point where he's wobbling. He's like, my leg wasn't working. He kicked the shit out of his leg. His calf kicks are so nasty. He's like, out of all the people in the sport, he's the worst guy to have kick your calves. Because he sneaks them in, and there's 2 and 3, and before you know it, fuck, my leg don't work anymore.
God.
And now you're trying to get away.
It's teeing off.
And you got one leg, and you're trying to dance and pretend, so you're putting all the weight on this leg. So you're trying to pretend like you got 2 legs. But he can tell. He can tell. Thud. He hits it again. Thud. So he had Izzy in real trouble, but he opened up too much. He's opened up too much. And, you know, to order to, like, close in on someone and bang them out, like, you got to leave yourself exposed sometimes. There's risks to reward, right? And the cautious, patient thing to do is you throw a lot of feints and then you throw your shots in.
Yeah.
But he was just teeing off at this point. And when you're just teeing off, you're assuming that the guy's incapable of countering to a certain extent. Or not even incapable, you're taking the risk of getting countered. You know, whereas if he just kept playing that game and like feinting and moving and slowly picking and poking and knowing, he just charged in a little too much. He thought Izzy was hurt more than he was, and then Izzy got him.
That right hand.
He got him. Fucking great, one of the greatest knockouts of all time. Especially when you think about like the significance of it, and you think about like historically, you know, 2 great champions. One guy who had knocked him out in kickboxing and then knocked him out in the UFC, and then he knocks him out cold and gets petty. And then after petty, gets super inspirational.
Yeah.
And gives one of the greatest post-fight speeches of all time. I think the greatest. I don't think there's ever been a better. Oh, maybe Rose Namajunas. That was right up there too. That one made me cry.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, she's sick. She's a badass too, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Izzy one, man. He's the reason he got me into the idea of UFC. I never, before he got into, because he was into the nerd stuff.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe that there was a guy who was like being like, yo, I'm a nerdy dude. I like nerd shit.
Yeah.
And I'm kicking the fuck out of people. And that got me locked in.
And also like a sweetheart
Oh,
of a guy. So fun. Just to hang out with and shoot the shit. He's silly. He's fun.
Oh, dude.
Playful. You know, it's just a real good guy. Real smart.
Oh, he took us to a club when we were in Brisbane with me and Schultz and him.
Oh, no shit.
And we just danced till like 3 in the morning, just fucked up. It was awesome. He took us to like some local spot that he likes, you know.
Oh,
but he's
awesome.
the man, dude.
That's awesome.
He's just a fucking man. But yeah, the nerd shit made me lock in. I was like,
Isn't it interesting how different those guys? I mean, like we were talking about, like Dustin Poirier, like having a regular life. Like the same thing with Izzy. Like, how do you have a regular life after you did that? You did that. You did that in front of the whole world. The whole world was watching. There was so many consequences on that fight because you were winning. He was winning that first fight.
Yeah,
he was winning. You know, he was ahead on points. And then the 4th round, it was the 4th or the 5th where he got put out. You know, it was devastating. God, this motherfucker got him again.
Yeah.
Because he got robbed in the first kickboxing fight. Izzy got robbed, in my opinion. I watched that fight several times. I mean, robbed is a tough description, but I would say I do not agree with the decision. I think Izzy won that kickboxing fight. And then the second kickboxing fight, Izzy had him on skates. Izzy had him hurt at one point in time, but he recovered, and then he caught Izzy with a left hook from hell. Just a left hook from hell. That motherfucker hit so hard, dude.
Yeah, it looks scary.
He hit so hard, and he wasn't as big back then as he is now. Like a lot of strength and conditioning work since then. Like he doesn't look the same, like look then as he does now. Now he looks way more strong. And so he knocks him out, and then they fight in the UFC, and he knocks him out again. And then Izzy finally knocks him out. And then puts the arrows in his body for the 3 times he beat him.
Yeah, I know.
He said that was like, he didn't even think of that. He just did 3. He just felt like doing 3, but it was really the 3 times he beat him.
And it just came out of his body.
Came out of his body. This motherfucker got me 3 times.
Oh, I don't know who was on the stage that night, but we ruined their set because they came on stage like, oh yeah, I'm in the middle of a joke and you just hear 30 people in the green room go, ah! And I thought, Whitney too, ah! All of us, because it was just, oh, this is a moment, dude.
Yeah.
And you could feel it when the way he did it and then when he's yelling. But that's one of the most inspiring, that speech. Whenever I'm working out or doing anything that fortify your mind, it plays in my head, fortify your mind.
Jamie played that for us one time. It's like one of the greatest speeches of all time. And, you know, he asked me for the microphone, too.
He did.
And I was like, yeah.
People, Earth, I need to say something. Listen to me. I hope every one of you behind the screens or in this arena can feel this level of happiness just one time in your life. I hope all of you can feel how fucking happy I am just one time in your life. But guess what? You will never feel this level of happiness if you don't go for something in your own life. When they knock you down, when they try and shit on you, when they talk shit about you, and they try to put their foot on your neck, if you stay down, you will never ever get that resolve. Fortify your mind and feel this level of happiness that can rise. One time in your life, but I'm blessed to be able to feel this shit again and again and again and again and again.
Woo! I mean, fuck, man.
Damn.
While you rise. I mean, it sounds like something from a movie, like a speech before war.
It sounds like...
With Galvani Ricotta, you got a breakfast. You got a dinner. You got a dessert. You got a taste of Dolce Vita. You got a ricotta with Galvani, Italy's #1 cheese brand.
The future of trading is here on Robinhood.
Try it, and lectin skin therapy is what your skin's been waiting for.
Like 15 writers sat in a room and came up with the perfect lines.
Yeah.
And then,
if that was in the movie Gladiator, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's how good that is.
And I bet that just came out of the moment. I didn't even ask him. I should have asked him next time I talked to him. I bet that just came right out of the moment. It was just right there. It was a perfect event for him. It was perfect. The way it went down was perfect. You could never script that better in a movie.
No.
To see him flattened out cold, and then put arrows in his unconscious body.
Woo! He knocked down an Easter egg island, man. Guy fucking Boaton's
Easter egg
huge.
island. Easter egg.
Boaton's
Easter island.
Oh, it's not an Easter egg island? You know what I'm trying to... I know it's an Easter egg island.
Bro, Alex Pereira is the scariest kickboxer who's ever competed in the sport. He's one guy above all that I would say, if he hits you once, you're dead. He just has to hit you once. Out of all the guys I've ever seen fight, I don't think anybody I could say that more than that guy, including in kickboxing, in everything. He has more power than anybody I've ever seen. In fact,
even boxing, even
I don't think I've seen anybody that hits harder than that guy. Anybody, ever, except Francis Ngannou. But Francis Ngannou's 265. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
But in weight class, like weight class to weight class, Francis can put anybody out too. But he's not at the same skill level as Poatan. So when Poatan does it, it's like when he switch kicked Yuri Prohaska and KO'd him at the beginning of the second round.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! Like, what the fuck, man?
And he KO'd him already at the end of the first round.
Yeah, it's terrifying. That dude's terrifying. Just absolutely terrifying. That power is just from God. It's like he's got a gift. He's got a weird gift that's just different than ever. You know, there's this machine where you punch it and it registers the amount of power. With Francis, it was like 130 something like that, right? Francis was like 130 something. Poatan got 191. 191 with his right hand, and I don't even think his right hand's his power punch. I think it's his left hook that's the big one. I bet the big one, the left hook, is over 191. It's bananas. His power, but it's not like anybody else. So when Izzy knocked that guy out, you gotta understand, that's different. That's different. That's the top of the mountain. That's the top of the mountain in the sport. It's like one of the greatest accomplishments in the sport.
Yeah.
It really is.
Would you say Peloton is the fastest rise you've ever seen in the UFC?
Ever. To 2 division world champions?
Yeah.
No one's even close. Because that guy never says no. They call him up. You want to fight next weekend? Yes. Oh, yes, wait. He just fights. He fought with a broken toe. He fought with a broken hand the last time. His hand was broken, and he had a norovirus. And he still fought.
Yeah, he's terrifying. Dude.
He's crazy.
I remember when he came to the mothership and they were like, the security, like, it was terrifying because he was like, I want to meet Joe now. and the security were like, I don't know what to do.
You know, me and DC were in the hallway upstairs in the mothership, and he's teaching us how he checks the calf kick. How he throws the calf kick different than everybody else, and he's having Polino, his coach, is translating. So it was me and DC, we're both standing there, and you know that little area where the elevator is, where the VIP is? We're standing there, this little crowded area, there's like 5 of us. And Peloton's kicking my legs, and he's kicking DC's legs, and he's explaining how he lifts his leg up this way, and this is how he checks it, and you're like, oh, shit. And both DC and I, do we tell people about this? Like, I don't even know if I want to give this up.
Yeah,
like, this information. Because this is, like, very good information. Wow. Like, he never gets hurt with calf kicks. And it's, like, the way he checks them, he does, like, a hacky sack thing. A lot of people are doing it now. But he was, like, one of the first guys to figure that out. That he does, like, this hacky sack move. So when you go to kick his legs, instead of just checking it, where he turns it into the kick, he lifts his leg up, and his leg just kind of goes like this, and the kick just goes, whee! It just kind of grazes it. So it never pounds on his calf the way he pounds on theirs.
When it's just straight, boom, you're getting that force where you're planted.
But he also has a different style. Like, he's not heavy on the front leg, because like, some guys are heavy on the front leg because they want to take him down quick. So they want to be able to, like, move and take him down. And those are the guys that are going to have a harder time getting away from that kick. Because you got so much weight on that leg. So he's just thud, thud, thud. And then now your calf is numb. Your foot is limp. Your foot's just dangling around your ankle.
Oh, that guy's terrifying, dude.
And again, like, how does a guy like that go and become a regular person? How do you integrate and just be a regular guy after that?
Yeah.
It's got to be very weird. Like, Schaub's figured it out.
Yeah.
But Schaub got lucky that he found podcasting, you know, and he, found his car show, All Gas No Brakes. And so like, he found a way to transition and still have a good time.
Yeah, it's very few guys. Because you see, I remember just the era of watching Tyson go from fighting to finding a rhythm.
Yeah.
You know, and being in
So
movies.
there's fighters, like Schaub, elite fighter, top 10 heavyweight in the UFC, but then there's champions, world champions, guys who sell out arenas, pay-per-view stars, like Conor. How's that guy go and be a regular person? How do you do that?
You can't.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, there's no coaches for that, where they teach you how to reintegrate and become normal.
Yeah. R.I.P. George Foreman, man. He feels like the only one who was like, he found the grill and was like, dude, I'm fucking
We made a lot of money with that grill. But he also came back when he was 36.
Yeah, and won it again, didn't he?
Yeah. He went all the way through till he was 45, and he knocked out Michael Moore, which is crazy. Like, nobody did that back then. When he came back at 36, I remember news articles about it. I remember feeling sad because I knew George Foreman when I was a child. Like, George Foreman on TV, when he knocked out Joe Frazier, when Ali beat him in Africa. That was a famous story because Hunter S. Thompson went there, and he was supposed to watch it and write a story for Rolling Stone about it, but he was so sad that Ali was going to get fucked up that he decided not to go to the fight. So he stayed in his hotel and just floated around the pool, and he fucked up the whole assignment. And it was kind of, in the documentary, they say it was kind of like a pivotal moment of the downturn of his life, where he kind of like fucked his life up.
Really?
Yeah, because he failed in his assignment. He didn't, and back then you couldn't watch the tape. You know, we're talking about the 1970s.
Yes.
So after the fight's over, the fight's over. You missed the fight. You don't have a story. And so he didn't have a story. And he went all the way to Africa and just fucked off because he was just being silly. And they're like, oh my God, I'm a failure. I failed in my story. And it was like a downturn in his life. Kind of takes a dark turn after that.
God, it's crazy how much, because you hear that, and it's that speech that Ali gave, which is also one of the most inspiring things ever, when he's like, I know you got him picked. I know you all got him picked. That, you know, where he gets that one. I'll show you how great I am.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, to hear that, even Hunter S. Thompson was like, oh, wow, every casual must have been like, oh, Ali's about to get fucking.
Well, you got to understand, man, George Foreman was a machine. He was different. You ever seen George Foreman punch the heavy bag?
No.
Right, he punches the heavy bag different than everybody. Because he winds up. Not only does he wind up and punch the heavy bag, he has it stay still. And he just hits so hard, and it's so terrifying, that that's all he has to do in a boxing match. He just has to kind of cover up and get close enough to just whomp you. Just whomp, whomp. And a lot of it is arm punches. Look at this. Listen to this. Give me some volume.
And he had a trainer, Dick Sadler, tiny by comparison to Foreman, and Sadler would hang on to the heavy bag, but Foreman would get this bag. Sadler had just literally been picked off his feet.
Oh my God. Foreman hitting the heavy bag is one of the more prodigious sights I've had in my life. It seems to me that of all the people I've seen hitting heavy bags, including Sonny Liston, no one ever hit it the way Foreman did.
So all he's practicing is hitting hard. He's not trying to be slick. You notice the difference?
Yeah.
Even the way like Canelo hits the heavy bag or Floyd hits the heavy bag, they're working skill.
We're going to see Tyson do it, and that head is going crazy.
Tyson hit the heavy bag better than anybody in the history of the world. Better than anybody. Because he hit the heavy bag with all these crazy angles and speed like a lightweight. Speed like a lightweight.
He's bouncing.
Bro, 214 pounds moving like a lightweight. Nobody was like that, dude. I still maintain he's the greatest. I think, a lot of people shit on me. They say, no way, you don't know shit about boxing. I just think that run, when Cus D'Amato was training him to the title, Cus was already dead when he won the title, to like a few fights afterwards. Losing Cus, he lost his way a little bit, but that run, when he was the man, when he knocked out Marvis Frazier, I think that's the greatest heavyweight of all time. I don't think anybody's even close. I think he fucks them all up.
Yeah.
I think he fucks them all up if they fight him during that time.
People like to discredit things because of the whole career, but they don't want to give credit to a run. When you see somebody have a run that's truly,
it's all about the run. It's all about the run.
Unreal.
That's why I always put B.J. Penn in the list of all-time greats. Because during that run, when B.J. Penn beat up Diego Sanchez, and when B.J. Penn fucked up Sean Shirk and Joe Daddy Stevenson, when he did that, I'm like, that B.J. Penn might be the baddest motherfucker alive. Like, he might be the baddest motherfucker alive. Like, I would have put that B.J. Penn, I would have loved to see that B.J. Penn versus Khabib. That would have been fucking crazy. And a lot of people think that's a ridiculous thing to say because Khabib was so dominant and BJ lost a bunch of times. Like, you're right. Argument, I accept. I'm not. Khabib might have beat him. He might have taken him down and mauled him the same way George St. Pierre did. He might have. Yeah. Khabib is a big guy, especially for lightweight, and his grappling skills are unparalleled. Khabib grapples and does fantastic with elite world championship caliber amateur wrestlers. I've heard stories of Khabib dominating guys in the gym at AKA that are elite wrestlers. That's how good Khabib is. So he might have been able to do that to BJ Penn. But BJ Penn might have got him too. BJ Penn might have got him. BJ Penn, especially when he was training with the Marinoviches and he had an unstoppable gas tank.
Yeah.
Because he went and trained with Marv Marinovich, who was like this psychopath football trainer. Who had these like radical plyometric training methods, and all you did was strength and conditioning. It was like, you know how to fight. Stop all this fight training, which is going to get you in the most insane state possible. And when they did that, BJ Penn was unstoppable. That BJ Penn, if somebody could have corralled him and got him to stay with that guy and then train all his skills outside of camp and then only train that way when he had world title fights and never fuck off, who knows, man? Who knows? He could have been the GOAT. He was so talented, man. Wow. So talented. That motherfucker, BJ Penn won the Mundials, okay? He was the first American to win the Mundials. Ever. The Mundials, the World Championships in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Okay. As a black belt, 3 years into training. 3 years into training. First of all, it's insane to get a black belt in 3 years. But to get a black belt in 3 years and then win the World Championships is insane. Insane.
And that's, without even hearing the context, that's crazy. Because I know 3 years isn't long enough to do most things.
I was a brown belt for 8 years. I was.
You were dedicated. Yeah. It's not like you weren't busting your ass.
I just feel like, they don't give those out, man. You have to earn it. It has to be real, unless you're in a terrible gym. If you're at a legit gym,
yeah.
If I'm training with John-Jacques Machado doesn't give out black belts, so you gotta be real to get that. You gotta choke a lot of people to get that. And BJ Penn got it in 3 years. 3 years. Yeah.
That's just natural gifts, God-given
ability. He's an addict. he said it to me. Like, we had a conversation on the phone once. It was really funny. He goes, I was talking to this guy, and he was really young, and he was like, you know, like, he goes, BJ, I admire you, you know, I copy your style and this and that. And he goes, man, you got so good so quick. He goes, man, I'm like you. I'm an addict. He goes, I'm just addicted to jiu-jitsu. He's like, fuck, man. And then I realized that that's it. I'm addicted to jiu-jitsu. I got addicted to something really good. I'm addicted. And I was like, that's exactly what it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same thing that could turn you into a junkie, unfortunately.
Just put that dial, spin that needle towards something else, and it's over.
I knew a dude who was a world championship caliber pool player, and he was squeaky clean. He ate well, he drank water, he never drank alcohol, he didn't smoke cigarettes, he didn't do drugs. Straight as an arrow, super focused, world championship caliber player. Then he hurts his back in a car accident. And they get him on those pills. And falls apart, man. Gets addicted to those pills the same way he was addicted to being a pool player.
Jeez.
The same thing that made him just obsess on pool, where he's thinking about pool so much he becomes like the scariest guy to play. The same thing got him with the pills, and then he just overdosed and died young. But he was like, one time my buddies were hanging out with him, and he fell asleep in his mashed potatoes, just fell asleep in his food. They were eating, he just grayed out on pills right into his food, and they had to pick him up out of the food. Like, oh no. This is a guy that was like straight as an arrow, clean as a whistle, super focused, always dressed nice, always looked good, you know?
Yeah.
Thin, in shape.
Just
focused.
Click to the left.
One click to the left. One accident, and then pills, and then no one understanding how addictive those fucking pills were. The doctors never told you.
Yeah.
Nobody told anybody. You know?
Now, when you see like those documentaries of like how people who just like broke a leg or something, and then they get them addicted to pills, and next thing you know, they lost their family, their job, everything.
I have many people that I know that happened to. Many people that I know that got injured, got on pills, and just lost their lives. Jiu-jitsu guys, friends, a lot of people. Especially, again, back before the information was available. Now everybody knows pain pills are super, super addictive. Everybody knows someone in their family.
Yeah.
Everybody knows someone that just can't get off them. Everybody knows somebody that died. I know multiple people that have died from pain pills. Yeah. And so that's what got them. But it's the same thing, man.
But that addiction is what makes you great, yeah.
Yeah, it's that thing in your head that makes you obsess on something. That's what it is. It's like this thing where you're trying to figure this thing out and you just want to get better at it. But that could be hijacked by gambling. That could be hijacked by video games. That could be hijacked by anything.
I've seen guys, I've seen guys do.
Yeah.
Playing
Yeah. That seems normal to me. That like makes sense, like biologically. But the gambling one is the craziest one to me.
Yeah.
That's the weirdest one because that might as well be heroin to those people. Whatever they're getting out of like risking $100,000 on a football game and just come on, you motherfucker, you motherfucker. Watching people do that, like, oh,
yeah.
Gives me so much anxiety.
Oh, you ever in Vegas and you're walking through your casino, you just see people at that slot machine, and they're just glazed over.
It's like the dumbest version of it, though. But risking everything on a game or risking everything on like roll the dice,
or roulette,
roulette, like that kind of thing is so nuts. It's so nuts to watch. It gives me so much anxiety. Like, you ever see Uncut Gems, that Adam Sandler movie?
It's one of the best movies. I've seen it 100 times too.
So good.
It's unreal. And it just shows Adam Sandler in a way of like, oh, this motherfucker can act. He can for real act. But yeah, that movie, I remember being in the theater and I'm with my wife and she's squirming. And I was like, what's wrong? You all right? And she was like, this is making me uncomfortable, Derek.
Yeah.
This is making me fucking uncomfortable.
Super uncomfortable.
And I was like, yeah, this movie, it was, because it's the adrenaline rush you're on. You feel like you're gambling.
Well, the movie's so good, it locks you in, like we're talking about, like comedies, like Hypnosis. That movie was like Hypnosis. Like, it locked you into this character and his decision-making, and this addiction to gambling that he has, and all the shady characters around. Everybody's pulling scams, and everybody's doing this and that, and there's always something happening, and
there's few movies that can lock you into a character like that where you're like, I don't even agree with this person, and I'm so invested.
And at the end of the movie, you're like, what the fuck?
Incredible.
Spoiler alert. Like, it's one of those what the fuck moments. We're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That movie, I shut it off and I was just breathing heavy for 5 minutes. Fuck.
Oh, and I like like a movie like that too, where you're like, this feels real. This feels like it can, like I said, happen to my neighbor, happen to my best friend. Like this can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
You just get lost in this.
Yeah, your mind is weird, man. People's minds are strange. Like, you know, minds can go down these weird pathways, and it's like most people don't have a good management system for it either. So it's like you're driving this car with no traction control and too much horsepower, and it's flying all over the road, and you know, and you freaked out. You're always on 10. Like, ooh.
Yeah, dude. Fuck. Another movie that makes you feel that way is There Will Be Blood. When you're watching, because that's the same, where you're watching a guy just go through this life, and you're like, I'm getting uncomfortable. He's killing his fake brother, and he's fucking, you know what I mean? And by the end, like you said, the ending of that one as well, where you're like, the fuck is this? I showed it to my wife, and she literally goes, Derek, why the fuck did you show me that? And I was like, you had to see it. You needed to experience this.
Yeah.
That's how good this movie is. I love a movie like that, where you give me an experience.
That's one of the greatest movies ever. Ever. For experience. Just like for sheer, like, just becoming that guy.
Yes.
He was that guy. You believed every single second of it. There was no soap opera acting going on at all.
No, dude. This is my son, H.W. The way he talks, the way he is.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then you see like him devolve into this crazy billionaire. Because when we see crazy billionaires, we don't really, and it's like to see how a person becomes a crazy billionaire. Because he's not a regular guy in the beginning movie. He falls, breaks his leg in that hole. You know what I mean? He's a regular dude.
There's a little element of that guy in everybody that's a crazy billionaire. There has to be.
How do you get there?
You have to manage that the same way everybody manages everything else. Like, imagine, like, trying to manage being Elon Musk. Imagine trying to manage that. Imagine. Just trying to manage that.
I don't know how he finds the time.
Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't even seem real. Like, it could possibly be real.
Yeah, because now he works for the government, along with still trying to get us to Mars and all these other cool things he's doing. You know what I mean?
And people are scrutinizing him at a level, like, they want him to be perfect in every way. And it's like, you don't get that out of these wacky geniuses. You don't get perfect. You get unbelievable capabilities mixed in with all kinds of flaws that even he makes fun of. Like, you know, he's even talked openly about, like, self-inflicted wounds that he gives himself on Twitter. He's posted about it with, like, laughter emojis. Like, but he's having a good time.
I mean, you're right. He is. That would be like watching the There Will Be Blood guy also tweeting his thoughts. Right?
Yeah.
You would see some shit where you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, well, he's not that way. He's not like
not that great.
This fucking psychopath who steals people's oil.
I drink your milkshake.
He's not that.
No, but I just the idea, like I said, it's a little bit in him. It has to be.
Well,
to conquer like that, I feel like.
Well, I think his drive is different than most of them, and his drive is accomplishments and innovation. Like, he's obsessed with getting people to Mars. He's obsessed with the engineering involved in what they've accomplished already with SpaceX. The ability to take a booster, shoot it off into space, and the booster comes down and lands and gets caught with robot arms is so off the charts, beyond anything anyone else has accomplished in the world of rocketry and space science and all the engineering involved. It's off the charts. Like, what SpaceX has done is, it's not appreciated enough because he's so polarizing politically because of his affiliation with Trump and because of all the propaganda that has been spun his way. There's some definite natural reactions that people have to him that are organic and real, and they get upset at some of the things he does. That's real. But also, there's a gigantic propaganda machine that's trying to paint him as a literal Nazi. And they're doing it because they have a vested interest in keeping all these NGOs and all their funding in place exactly the same way it's always been, and having a genius go into all of your fucking bookkeeping and accounting is not good if you've been unchecked for decades and you have a fucking just an unstoppable budget and a lot of waste.
Chupa Chups Melody Pops. Taste the music.
Thrive Cosmetics just came out with new shades of my favorite product, and I am obsessed.
This is the Thrive Cosmetics Fluid Eyeliner.
You don't even have to be a makeup artiste.
This took about 30 seconds, and I instantly look more awake.
I am not a morning person, but this eyeshadow stick makes me look like I am.
I look wide awake.
Look at the difference after just one swipe.
and a lot of incompetence and probably a bunch of fraud and theft too.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean they've acknowledged that. You know, one of the things they said, which is hilarious, they said he found I think it was Social Security or Medicaid a bunch of fraud, and then they were saying, well, actually the government had already identified this 2 years ago. Okay, but why didn't you have this press conference and say, you know, did you just cover it up? Did you make a big deal? Did you stop it in its tracks? Did you reverse it? Did you prosecute people? Did you get the money back? Why are you saying, yeah, we already knew about that? Like, that's not good enough. Like, what did you do? How come you didn't find out about that $250 million that went to transgender animal studies? Like, you didn't notice that one? And you noticed $21 million to Iraq and Sesame Street? You didn't notice that? You didn't notice, like, fucking, like, just so much of it is kooky. It's so much money. And the way NGOs and nonprofits work, I didn't understand it. I didn't know that it's all, like, cyclical money that's, like, flowing around. There's billions of dollars. It's just flowing around. It's a lot of it's unchecked, and they've been doing it forever, and that's why we're $36 trillion in debt. You know, not good.
How does it get that bad?
I don't know. But then there's also legitimate arguments on the other side. Like, the other side is making a very legitimate argument about the right to due process if you get processed and shipped out of the country and put in a prison in El Salvador. You know, what is the quote? Was it Benjamin Franklin's quote about innocent, and that it's better to allow 10 guilty people to go free than one innocent person arrested? You know, I'm on that side of things.
Yeah.
That's I think due process exists for a reason, and the reason is it is horrific for someone to be accused of something they didn't do, be imprisoned for crimes they didn't commit, and then live in a cell, live in a cage with a bunch of
people who did commit shit.
Here it is, Benjamin Franklin. It's better 100 guilty persons should escape than one innocent person should suffer. That is wisdom.
Yeah.
That has survived hundreds of years. It's incredibly accurate, and it is the foundation of freedom. Like, we have to make sure that these people are actually guilty, otherwise we become monsters. You can't, like, what is that, when you fight monsters, be careful that you don't become one. Yeah. Yeah. That's very important. It's very important. You know, you can't do that. But also, you also have to deal with the fact that the current administration is dealing with the past administration allowing known gang members and terrorists to go right through the border unchecked. That a lot of them they know got through. They don't know the exact numbers, but they know there's millions and millions of people illegally just walk through unchecked, and a bunch of them have to have criminal records. A bunch of them have to be dangerous, and we've seen crimes that have been committed. It doesn't help anybody on the progressive side to deny the fact that that's a real problem. And if it happens to your family, God forbid, I don't want it to happen to anybody's, but if it does, you will feel a sting of regret if you supported that, unlike anything you've ever experienced in your life. You'll be like, I mean, it's, you know, it's one of those things where to support one side of this, you have to deny some, like, basic human values. Either way. Like, to support just rounding people up and just assuming they're all gang members. I'm not saying they're doing that, but this is the worst case scenario, right? Yeah. They get a bunch of people in a room, they rope them all in, and one guy's just someone's cousin picking someone up to give them a ride home. That's possible.
And now you're back on the one innocent person, and now you're right back.
And what if that dude is not doing anything wrong and he's got some stupid tattoos, and they decide that this guy's a gang member, and now you're in a prison in El Salvador, and you're not even from El Salvador. And now, you know, you were just a hairdresser, or you were a tattoo artist,
family man.
You are. Yeah. You came over here, and maybe you got a green card, and maybe you don't. Maybe you were just given asylum, because a lot of people from Venezuela were given asylum in America.
Yeah.
And then you get shipped to El Salvador, where you're not even from El Salvador. So that the fact that that exists scares the shit out of me. But also the fact that they were just letting terrorists and gang members flow freely into the country is fucking horrible. And when you talk about innocent people, what about the innocent people that got murdered by terrorists and well, not terrorists, that really hasn't happened, but gang members? And this Trender Wagwa that were taking over those apartment buildings in Aurora, Colorado, and like, that's scary shit, man. Armed with machine guns, taking over apartment buildings. Like, what are we talking about here?
Like, what are we talking about? You're letting that happen? You're not sending in the troops to stop this?
Yeah, and you think that wouldn't, in your head, you're like, that can't happen in America, in Colorado.
Bro, they got a guy that had done that in California, and they refused to deport him because they said that California is a sanctuary state. They're like fighting to keep a known gang member free in America. The whole thing is bananas. It's like almost like you don't want to go full tinfoil hat, Sam Tripoli style, and just decide that they're trying to destroy America. But if I was going to try to destroy America, that's how I would do it.
Yeah.
I'd take over the political process, impart censorship on all the social media, like gaslight people to no end, consistently do it, AstroTurf stadiums filled with people pretending they support something, pay them to be there, manufacture a movement, and slowly but surely bring chaos to all the cities. Allow DAs to get elected that are the worst when it comes to protecting people and the best when it comes to freeing violent criminals. And that's really their goal. And then they can do it. They can just use words like racial justice. And they just send murderers back out into the streets. You just create chaos. Defund the police. Now you have no police. Like if I wanted to destroy America, I would do it this way.
I mean, what you just described sounds like like a plan from another place. It's like, oh,
if you wanted to destroy America,
we really wanted to, not with war, but let's just slowly let them kill themselves. Type stuff.
And then have them at each other's back, at each other's throats, rather. And, constantly have them fighting over political issues. Let's get rid of Roe v. Wade. They're a little too happy right now. Get rid of Roe v. Wade, and the liberals are up in arms. How, you motherfucker? Which was, getting rid of Roe v. Wade was actually a good move if you were a Democrat, because then people get upset, and then they really want to vote. Like, you could probably ignite a lot of people. And that was like, there's some famous videos. There's one famous video of this lady celebrating that Kamala Harris was going to win. And she was like, reproductive freedom. Women came out to vote in unprecedented numbers. I'm sure you've seen it. It's a video of this lady mocking this guy working at a liquor store.
No,
Have you ever seen it?
Dude.
It's so good. It's so good because it's like this lady, and the way she's talking, like, you can't be a good person and talk to someone this way, or even about someone this way, and be happy in the way you're happy.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, people like to be shitty to people and think that it's justifiable to be shitty if that person disagrees with you. So you can be shitty. Whereas the guy in this story is not being shitty to her at all, but she's being super shitty to this guy. And, but she's talking about reproductive rights. Because that was like one of the big things that got people to come out and vote for the Democrats.
Yeah.
If I was playing 4D chess and I was Democrat, I was like, this is what we do.
Get rid of ourselves.
Get rid of ourselves. Get rid of us, and then campaign on that. Okay, now we got all the women pissed off because women don't want men telling them what to do. Bitch, you can't get pregnant. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up.
Shut up.
Until you can get pregnant, shut the fuck up. You know?
Yeah.
It's like this with this lady. You gotta do. You can find this video. It's so funny. This poor lady. But it's about reproductive rights. Like she's saying that, and it was for a lot of people. But that was a big one. So like you would do that. You would do that. You would get rid of that. You would try to get rid of the Second Amendment. Fuck the Second Amendment. We're gonna get rid of all guns. Oh, the fucking gun guys, get up for the Republicans. And then you would say we need open borders because we need our society is population collapse, and they're starting to say things like that. And we need who's gonna pick cotton? They're essentially marketing it because they're saying Americans don't want these jobs, so we have to bring people in to pick our crops. Who's going to clean your toilets? People are openly saying that. Like, not realizing how racist
Oh, I remember that lady. The one white lady, she told me that she was like, who's going to clean your toilet if they get rid of all the Mexicans? It's like, what the fuck?
Who said that?
It was like, one of those crazy
One you bitches.
She's one of them, or at least a show like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hilarious.
That's infected. Maybe getting a tattoo at a music festival was a bad idea. Lucky for you, an Amazon One medical virtual visit can happen anywhere, even here.
The current grill has changed my cooking life because it is so easy to use. Grilling is an experience, but ultimately it's about creating flavors. Due to its design, efficiency, and firepower, the current absolutely can deliver.
So there was that going on. If you wanted to destroy society and make it worse, what would you do? You bring people in from a third world country, don't have them change anything, financially incentivize them to be there, give them free money while you're not helping the poor people in America.
They were giving them debit cards, free housing, free food, putting them up in the Roosevelt Hotel in New York City. Wild shit. If you want to destroy society, that's how you would do it. That's how you would do it.
I mean, that sounds.
You would just keep
like it's
doing
working.
it, like it's going in that direction.
Yeah.
So the problem with things that are going in a radical direction is then there's an overcorrection. So the overcorrection is lack of due process. The overcorrection is like round them all up, ship them to jail. Like that's like some things that you say when you're not thinking things through. Like, what do you do about all the criminals? Take them all, fucking send them to El Salvador.
Yeah.
What about due process? No, fuck that. Well, here's the problem with fuck that. What if you are an enemy of, let's not say any current president. Let's pretend we get a new president, totally new guy in 2028. And this is a common practice now of just rounding up gang members with no due process and shipping them to El Salvador. You're a gang member. No, I'm not. Prove it. What? I gotta go to court. No, no due process.
That's
Right?
dangerous, Joe.
That's dangerous. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. And we gotta be careful that we don't become monsters while we're fighting monsters. But then again, you gotta find these motherfuckers that are here that have terrorist cells and that are ready to fucking blow up malls in Dallas and do crazy shit, which definitely they've thwarted before.
Yeah.
So like this is the best argument for intelligence agencies is that there's real threats. You know, like for someone to say, fuck all the CIA, fuck the FBI. What, are you crazy? Who's gonna investigate real threats? Like the real world exists. As much as you want to pretend that that we can all go kumbaya tomorrow if we all just lay down our arms. No, there's people that are 48 years old and dedicated to crime. Dedicated to crime in Guatemala, and now they're here. You know, and now they're selling fentanyl, and they're not going to stop. Okay?
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and they're on EBT cards where you're getting money from the government for free every month because you're in a sanctuary city.
Yeah.
And you're getting free food, and you're a criminal. And then one of them, like two of them, assaulted cops in New York City, and then got out, got free, no cash bail, no cash bail. You just get out. They assaulted cops, and then they're on the street giving the Tupac to the camera. You ever see that?
No, Joe. What?
First of all, we're gonna show you the Kamala Harris lady. Did you got the Kamala Harris lady? You can't find it. They probably scrubbed it from the internet. She's being shamed.
I'm not really sure what to look for, but
You're putting the tinfoil hat on my head right
We
now.
don't,
That's
we
how I
don't,
feel it.
we don't have to show it. It's because we've already showed it a bunch of times. It's how you would do it if you wanted to destroy America. I'm not saying. So the question becomes like, how much of it is our own folly? How much of it is just natural human behavior? How much of it is like the right wants law and order, so we don't want law and order. The right wants to punish prisoners. We don't. No, it's racist. Racism. You know, it's like, what is it?
Well, that's just teens fighting. That's so,
yeah. But also, I feel like it's manipulated as well, and maybe more so than anything else. I feel like it's manipulated. And again, if you wanted to turn us into China, and what I mean by that is a country that's facial recognition everywhere, social credit score system that's attached to all of your banking, your ability to travel, everything you do. If you make anything online that's against the government, you could be disappeared, you could be locked up, you could be made a political prisoner. You know, this is fun.
It felt like we were heading that way.
Yeah, I think this is something that, I think it was Metzger that said this. No, it was Duncan that said this about Ukraine and Russia. He was like, do you realize, like, the Ukrainians that we're killing, or that rather the Russians that we're killing by sending over arms and money to fund the Ukrainians. Not saying that we shouldn't do this, but he's saying that a lot of those guys are being forced to go to the front line, and a lot of those guys are prisoners who get released in order to fight. So what if you're a prisoner because you wrote a bad tweet against Putin, and they lock you up, and then all of a sudden Ukrainians are killing you with American weapons because you tweeted bad against Putin. So it's Putin's way of like eliminating any dissent from like, and they don't even arrest that many people online in comparison to, or for doing things online in comparison to the UK. The UK is getting in on it full steam ahead. The UK is arresting people for anything that makes people uncomfortable online. They show up at your house and just fucking arrest you. They've arrested, like, how many people have been arrested in the UK for social media posts in the last year? It's gonna blow your mind. It's gonna blow your mind. This is just posts on social media, like we need to send these illegal immigrants back. Saying shit like that.
Yeah.
You get arrested. Arrested. Hate crime.
Even if I'm joking, even if I'm just fucking having
There's no jokes.
Wow.
No jokes online anymore. Not in the UK. Not only that, but the guys that head of the UK, they're saying now that they could potentially arrest Americans who have posted things online when they visit the UK. Yeah, I was reading a post about this. Like this law could potentially be used in this way. That if you are a person in America and you're posting horrible shit about the UK government or the immigrant problem or whatever they have, context behind available information, exact figures 2025, not fully comprehended. 2023. In 2023, 12,183 arrests were made across 37 police forces in the UK under Section 127 of the Communications Act, 2003, and Section 1 of the Malicious Communications Act in 1988, equating to about 33 arrests per day. Laws cover sending grossly offensive, indecent, obscene, or menacing messages via electronic communication networks, which includes social media posts and also DMs. DMs. So people get arrested for horrible DMs that nobody gets to see other than the friend that you're sending it to, supposedly.
You have no idea what the context is. That's crazy.
To this one time recently, it said that a lot of people may have been arrested, but many of them were not prosecuted and were released.
But it's still, right, okay, that's cute. It's still horrifying because what you're doing is scaring people into compliance. They don't want to be arrested again, and they certainly don't want to risk being prosecuted. But they're forcing people to censor themselves.
The jump. It said that they were breaking the law. I don't know which law.
Right. Well, no, they do have a law. They don't have freedom of speech the way we have in America. So they do have these hate speech laws. So they are breaking a law. But the question is, should that law exist? And I say no. No, the law should not exist. You shouldn't be able to put someone in a cage for saying, in some of them are pretty fucking calm. Only 1,119 sentences occurred for these offenses. Okay, but the problem is now go look at how many people were arrested in Russia for social media posts. It's drastically less. But we think of Russia as being the country that censors people,
Right. China and Russia,
which they do. You can't criticize Putin. You can't go balls out. You're risking your life. You're in real trouble. Not excusing that, but what they're doing in the UK is at a higher level of magnitude. I mean, maybe they're not torturing people and sending them to the front line of Ukraine, but they are putting the fear of being arrested in people if you say something that they don't want you to say on social media.
The jump from 2016 to 2023 is crazy.
Look at Russia. 2023, 54 people. So in the time where 12,000 people were arrested in the UK, 54 people were imprisoned for online hate speech in Russia.
Information isn't very.
Russia's 100% accurate with their. Shut up, Jamie. From 2010 to 2024, Novaya Gazeta Europe reported over 30,000 criminal and administrative cases related to social media posts, with about 1,200 being criminal cases. So they have 1,200 criminal cases. Current charges include extremism, inciting hatred, or insulting state symbols. That's where it gets sketchy.
I can't even make fun of the flag or a monument. I can't make fun of it.
Nope. Insulting. Making fun is insulting. There's no room for humor in a communist country.
UK sucks, dude.
No, but it's not, Russia's not communist, really, anymore. It's really, it's a military dictatorship, essentially. I mean, Putin was the president, and he could only do a certain amount of time, and then he stopped being the president. He's like, fuck it, I'm the president again. And then no one's going to win going against him. We have elections, but what are you doing? The guys wind up getting poisoned and shot, and they're like, it's old school.
Yeah, it's
old school. He's running that place.
It's his.
That's his. You're not taking over.
Man, I see that picture of him, shirtless on a horse. I'm like, no, fuck with this dude.
Yeah, he's a killer. He's a former KGB killer. Like, he's like the real deal. He's a judo black belt. He's a bad man.
Yeah.
And he runs that country. And they arrest less people.
Yeah, what the fuck is going on in the UK?
They're leaning into the same direction that I was talking about that was scaring me about America. I feel like there's a plot. There's a plot to diminish the fabric of society. Look, if you want, okay, let's let's just look at the whole overall world, and is it fair? It's definitely not fair. There's a reason why these people in these third world countries want to come to Europe and why they want to come to America, because it's better here and it's better there, and they want a better life. I get it, but why are they fleeing where they came from? Well, we bombed the shit out of those places. We bombed the shit out of those places. We drone bombed them. We overthrew democratically elected governments with coups. There's a lot of instability that's caused by us. We're like, oh, it's our fault. We're gonna take these people in. I think instead of fucking up this one country by letting everybody come in and drag it down to a third world country, I think a better solution is figure out a way to prop up these other countries. The same way, I mean, in a simplistic version of it, like, if you want everything for yourself, you're selfish, but you want everything for all your boys too, and everybody gets better.
Yeah.
The whole world gets better. So instead of, like, shipping off jobs to Mexico where they get $1 a day, maybe pay them real money. Pay them what you're supposed to be paying them. Maybe give them health care. Maybe if you are an American citizen and you want to hire someone to do something, you have to hire someone under the same structure of ethics that we agree to in the United States. Period.
Yes.
Period. For all humans all over the world. And if the money translates lower because the American dollar is worth more, okay, but balance it out. Make it that, they can afford food, they can afford housing, they can afford health care. Make laws.
Agreed.
And then all of a sudden you prop up the whole world. And the whole world you stop having third world countries, including in the United States. Like, why do we still have ghettos? Why have we put all this money into funding all these different things with, like, U.S. aid all over the world? And the south side of Chicago has the same amount of murders every year, if not more.
More every year.
Every year. Baltimore, same place. We had a cop in.
Hi.
Together something special. Craft natural cheese.
Plan your getaway to Illinois. You're gonna love it. When you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts and emotions, it's okay to get help. You are not alone. Count on the safety to be safe and confidential to help you. For you, family, and you. Find support now at Calhoun.
Alright, thank you.
What instruments, cereal and lotion show off the charts iconic? Soft, supple skin, a light aroma, and a hint of sweetness. Pure perfection. How's that for a fresh, juicy cherry on top? The feel-good feeling of drinking.
Once back in the day, that he was a cop in Baltimore, and while they were working one day, he found a rap sheet, like a arrest sheet of all these different crimes that were committed in all these different areas from, like, the 1970s. And it was all the same shit that's happening today, and he realized, like, oh my God, it's never gonna end. Like, you're never gonna fix this. It's all the same problems in the same
2:45 p.m. Thursday, April 17, 2025.
The same violence.